Well, hey there, gamers! Welcome back to the Professor Meg YouTube channel. Today I get to talk about something just because I want to. Today I got to play Dark Providence, which is a Cthulhu Dark Providence. This is a new title by CMON Games, and it's also by Martin Wallace, designed by him and Travis Chance. Now this is based on an older game, and that one was also by Martin Wallace, so Travis was able to come in and help with designing this one, and I actually got to play it with Travis not once, but twice. Did I lose twice? Maybe. But you'll have to find out over on the Board Game Co channel. We did do some playthroughs. There's one on the channel and one on the Patreon. If you want to go find those, the link will be down below. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this game because honestly, I had so much fun with it, and I am a huge fan of Cthulhu lore, so a lot of this was just very cool for me to be interacting with. So to jump right into it, in the game, everyone is going to have these hidden roles. So you can see there's a cultist here, a dissident cultist, there's also a dissident investigator over here, and there's a regular investigator. So everyone has these different roles, which means what you're trying to do throughout the game will change. Now there's these different tracks over here. This is for the cultists, this is for the investigators. So that's one track that you're trying to go up because you'll score the VP based on as high as your little marker goes. Now the rules will change depending on the number of players between a 3-player game and a 4 and 5-player game. In a 4 and 5-player game, some people will also share roles, so you have to score higher than the other person as well to be able to win the game. Now, there's a lot of things that you're going to be doing throughout this game. You're going to have your different investigators that are on the board, moving around, acquiring cards. So I should back up a little bit. They will be moving around the board. You will also be acquiring cards. You don't need to acquire a card where your person is. There are these cubes that you're placing, and that's bidding for control of the card. When you place those cubes on your turn, if it comes all the way back to your turn again, as your first action, you can always claim something with your cubes on it. So if I was the purple player right now and it came back to my turn, I would be able to claim this. However, because you can only claim with your first action, I wouldn't be able to claim this one in the same turn. I would have to choose, and then I could claim another one in future turns. Now, these are cards that are available to you down here. These are asset cards that go into your deck, and it's similar to any deck building game where you have your cards that you start off with and you'll cycle through. But there are also mythos cards up there that are almost permanent engine builders that you can use to score points at the end of the game, as well as get some immediate benefits when you get it. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is how you are actually playing these cards. This is a system that I really, really enjoy, is that your cards can be played both for actions if they have an action, or for the assets that they provide. Now you can't do both, so I could use this card, for example, to gain a cube, or to use her widow ability. I wouldn't be able to do both. Now you get 2 actions on your turn, so you would be using these different symbols to take those actions. So for example, you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cube symbols in my hand. Now if I played those all in one turn, I would be able to retrieve my cubes from the limbo pile, or I would be able to put all 5 out. But if I broke up my actions into 2 different actions, I would be able to retrieve 3 from limbo first, and then place 2 on a card that I choose, or on a location or a mythos card. Locations are also something that you're vying for control of. You're able to control the city. That will give you a card that you're able to play with. These are little hints as to what the card will do for you, and that gives you permanent scoring for VP. Now this is something that's really tricky because if someone else takes that location from you, you lose that many VP points, and then they will gain that many. But there are also these gates down here that you are opening or closing gates. This represents a rift where there is potential for a gate to open from the other worlds, and the cultists will want to be opening the gates, and the investigators will want to be closing the gates. Now, at the end of the game, depending on your alignment and what card you have, for example, the cultist here would only score on their own tiles if they were open gates. The ones that are dissident are able to score for both of those, so that's kind of the benefit that they gain there because they don't get some of their straight faction bonuses, such as surviving if you draw 3 madness cards for the cultist. Now that has just been a quick overview. There's a lot going on with this game and a ton of complexity. It's a game that I played once and immediately wanted to play again, and we did so. And I played it completely differently between the 2 games. In the first game, I went for a lot of control of locations, and that gave me a lot of points and cards to play with. In the second game, I was a cultist, and I got a card that let me make people, I'm not gonna know the word, revenants. I got to make people different revenants, which made them unkillable and very cool and zombie-like. That's why these ones are flipped over with their red eyes. So that was very cool that there are very different ways to play the game and all different paths to victory. Something that I think is very cool is that you have those shared tracks, so whoever is going up on the different tracks, you also can benefit from those points. And I really like the swing when you claim different cities and take them from people, of them losing points and then gaining points. The final thing I'd like to talk about before we go is just how this relates to the Arkham world. There are so many things that are so familiar to me that, as someone who enjoys these types of games, I love seeing things that feel familiar, but then seeing different unique aspects throughout the game. For example, we have all these different locations. Some of them aren't usual to your Arkham lore because that usually is within Massachusetts, so it's very nice to see these different areas in the artwork for them. This track is also very differently designed, that I think it's very unique for games within the Cthulhu universe. But that being said, we have all of our favorite baddies. For example, we have Yog-Sothoth over here. We also have Hastur. They're doing exactly what you expect, and I was so happy as these different Mythos cards were coming out that Herbert West the Reanimator came out, the Whateleys came out, so a whole bunch of people that you know and love from the Arkham world also exist. Another thing that I thought was super interesting is that real life people also exist within this universe. You can have Harry Houdini as one of your assistants and he can play with you. And there's even a Danvers State Hospital card, which, if you know I'm from Massachusetts, I've actually been there, and it's a super spooky place. So it was so cool to see the card here representing Massachusetts in the game. I would say check out more of this game because it is very thinky, and I was very, very engaged. I really liked putting out the games to try to see what cards I can acquire and what different things I want to take control of, but then it's very tricky because you can only do one per round, so I started putting out more cubes than I could claim, and that got very difficult. Another thing was different people, depending on your role, want to be killing other people. So with my Revenants, I was taking control of other people's players, but you can also kill them, and that will give you points as well, depending on your alignment. I don't know, I just thought it was a very fun, engaging game, and it played very quickly. So if you'd like to check it out below, you can check out the link, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!